The solar eclipse is happening here in the United States on Monday the 8th, which is just a few days away from now. And so I thought it would be interesting to utilize the tarot cards to connect with the energy of the upcoming eclipse and the nature spirits to see what kind of messages we can receive in preparation for this. My name is Charisse Williams. I'm a paranormal investigator, spiritual guide, author, and tarot card reader. And I love to utilize spiritual methods like tarot to communicate with the other side and with unseen energies. So let's get into it. What does this eclipse represent? What does the upcoming eclipse represent? All right, we have Ace of Pentacles. So this solar eclipse is really ushering in a new energy. It's literally bringing us a new energy and a new path and a new direction. So it's almost like, this is such a liminal time as it is with these eclipses, and especially the solar eclipse, but it literally is. It's like this in-between time, and it's ushering in kind of a new doorway, a new direction for us to go into, and new energies are being delivered to us, presented to us, new opportunities, new direction. All right, so how can we make the most out of this energy, out of this new energy, out of these new paths? How can we make the most out of that? Two of Pentacles. Now is the time to maintain balance, to find balance within your life. And it is interesting too, with the moon eclipsing the sun, and it's just this whole, there is this energy of balance within it and about it. But the energy right now, it is with changes. The eclipse can represent endings and beginnings. And whenever we are experiencing changes and shifts and new directions and new paths, it can be a little unsettling. And I don't mean unsettling in like a scary bad way. It can just be a little, if you've ever been in those liminal moments in your own life where you're kind of like in between phases, in between projects or jobs, it leaves you with that just like, I don't know what to do. Things can kind of be up in the air. Some things may feel like they're kind of falling apart. So right now with this eclipse energy, it's really important to be maintaining some balance. So make sure you're also doing some grounding. This is a very heightened spiritual time, energetic time. So make sure that you are spending time to ground yourself. We want to have that nice balance with the spiritual energies and our intuition, as well as the earthly practical realm as well. So make sure that you're really utilizing some balance right now. And because eclipses represent endings and beginnings, let's pull a card to see exactly kind of what is ending and what is beginning, sort of like what is on this side of the path, the archway, and what is on the other side of this path in this archway. So what is ending? What is ending? Okay, so we have what is ending, Justice, Hierophant, Seven of Cups. So it's interesting how the super similarities between these two cards. We have the individual in the red robe sitting on a throne or an important chair in between the two pillars. So there's a lot of symbolism again of balance. But so what is ending? Justice and the Hierophant. I think that and this is so in line with the age of Aquarius right now, is illusions ending, illusions being lifted, things are being brought to light, things are coming to light, people aren't being as bamboozled as they were before. I'm really curious if after this eclipse, we've already been seeing a lot with governments and even like the church and traditional values and how things have always been done within the governments around the world, with the systems that have been put in place. We've already been starting to see the illusions ending, the facade kind of crumbling. People are starting to wake up to, hey, I don't agree with how things are being run. I don't agree with the powers that be and how they've been doing things. People are losing trust within the very systems that they were taught to believe in. So this is really, I wasn't expecting this to come through, but this is really interesting. I think that this This eclipse is really ushering in a new doorway, a new direction for the people, for the people. These traditional systems are going to continue to kind of break away. People are going to, the wool is going to be pulled from people's eyes more and more, I think, as we continue throughout this year and within the next few years as well. And it really is kind of just being ushered in by this eclipse energy. That's really interesting. Okay. So that's what's ending. Traditional systems, legal systems, governments, kind of, people are seeing the truth. People are seeing the truth. As they say, the truth always comes to light. And Age of Aquarius is about that, as well as this eclipse is really kind of ushering in this new light. All right. So what is beginning? What is beginning after this eclipse? What will be beginning? All right, we have the King of Pentacles, we have the King of Swords, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. So what is beginning after this eclipse? We're having the kind of the end of the facade, the end of the traditional systems that have been put in place, you know, shifts within government and how that works for the people, or I guess how it doesn't work for the people. So what is that ushering in? What is beginning? There's going to be a big focus on community, on the home life. I mean, we're already seeing that a lot. More and more people every day are starting to do more homesteading type stuff. You know, younger people every day are looking to kind of the older ways of how to be a little bit more self-sustainable, how to do gardening and knitting and making bread and preserving food and all of that. And I think we're going to really start to see more of that, which makes a lot of sense. You know, if we're losing the trust within these systems that have been put in place, and we've lost the trust, and these things are no longer working for us, we are going to have to rely on ourselves, to rely on our community, to rely on our family, to rely on our homes. So I think we're really going to start to see more of that. And I'm so happy to see this as well, because, you know, as much as the powers that be want us to believe that we need them and that it's kind of one man for themselves, like everybody for themselves, and we're all so different and we all hate each other and all of that. That's not true. That's not true. While yes, there are differences amongst us and we all have different values and there are some disagreements, we are so much more alike than we are different. And that's what these systems are afraid of us seeing. But that's what's coming. That's what's coming. An emphasis on community, an emphasis on building each other up, building things that are sustainable and long-term as well. And I think also the focus is going to start to become more on like local government, small government. So I'm not quite sure how that looks. I'm not a political person. I'm not, you know, I don't study the government or anything like that. So I can't speak too much on this. But what I can speak on is that this solar eclipse is helping to usher in a sense of community within the world, a sense of sustainability, a sense of camaraderie, and making things work for the long term for the community, for one and all. There's also a sense of setting strong boundaries. You know, once we've seen the fall and the lies and we've had enough, we're going to be setting some good boundaries and saying no more. There's also, you know, the king can represent new ideas, new ventures. So we're going to start to band together as a community, which really freaks out the powers that be. But we're really going to start to band together as a people and find new systems and new ways that work for us while setting boundaries. I'm really excited to see this. This is pretty freaking cool. Because I really truly believe that there is good in the world. I truly believe that we want to look out for one another. We are a communal species. We're not meant, we've lived in these systems that they've put up for us for so long, and it hasn't worked. I mean, maybe there were some things that worked, but there's definitely been a lot of things that haven't worked. And one of the things that hasn't worked is the removal of community, the removal of that tribe. You know, we're meant to be together. And I think that that's exactly what is going to be happening. All right. Is there anything else that we need to know about this upcoming eclipse and the energy that is surrounding it? Is there anything else that we need to know? Temperance. There's such gray areas in life. And with these, with the old systems, they wanted everything to be black and white. It's either all this or all that. And that's also how they've helped pit us, or tried to pit us against each other, is by, well, which side are you? Which box do you fit in? And it's much more nuanced than that. Life is much more nuanced. And it's important to remember that nuance and that whole gray area as these systems are falling away, as new structures are being built, as new ideas are coming to fruition. It's really important to remember that nuance. Like an example I can think of is in the medical world. It's not, oh, I'm only holistic and I only use herbs and, nature's medicines, and I poo-poo all of the modern medical stuff, or I only utilize pharmaceuticals and the medical world, and everything else is, snake oil and garbage. No, there's a balance. There's a time and place for natural remedies, and there's a time and place for modern medicine. So that's just one example of the importance of remembering that kind of balance. There's nuance in the situation. Not everything requires Western medicine, and not everything requires holistic medicine. There's a nice balance, and there's a time and place for both. Again, that's just one example of many, but it's going to be really important to remember that, to also really work on healing yourself, healing what needs to be healed within yourself, and spreading light, and really focusing on the good in the world. Because it reminds me of that quote that Mr. Rogers said, or the story that he shared, that whenever something scary was happening in the news, his mom told him, always look for the helpers. Like whenever there's a scary situation, look for the helpers, look for the angels, right? The guardian angels, the protectors, the kindness and the light in the world. And this is going to be really, really key in the next coming months and years, is to not let, when things crumble, it can get scary. And rightfully so. There are things that are scary, but it's important to remember that's not all there is in the world, that there truly is good. There truly are good people. There are people just trying to, do what's right for themselves and their family and their communities, and they're trying to build and create something new. So don't let the divide happen. Don't let the fear win. There really is good and light. And I like to think that, look, this is the little pathway. If we continue through this little archway on the path, we eventually come this way. Like I'm kind of thinking back, here's the archway, and here we are coming to the river. So just nurture yourself, nurture your family, focus on the light, because there really, really, truly is good in the world. There's healing in the world. I wouldn't be freaked out. Don't be freaked out about everything that is happening. And don't be freaked out about the things that happen. I'm not saying like ignore it and everything's sunshine and rainbows. It's not at all. You're allowed to get angry. I mean, these systems that were put in place, they haven't always been the best. And there is, your anger is rightful, and rightful, is that even a word? Your anger is justified. It's okay to be angry and upset. But it's important to not let that consume you, to kind of, again, balance it out. It's not all one thing or another. It's not all doom and gloom and anger and frustration. At the same time, it's not all sunshine and rainbows and fluffy, happy feelings. There's a big old gray area. There's a whole bunch of nuance. There's a whole bunch of in between. So it's important to not let any darkness consume you, and to focus on healing and the light, because it truly is. Things are gonna be okay in the world. That's what I got. All right. Sending you much love and blessings. Have a good day.